You're watching the Running Report show on FanHub TF. I'm Joshua Potts, Mr. Possible, here to give you running news produced for and by the culture. And honestly, bro, let's just skip the pleasantries because this weekend was absolutely insane. And I got a great person to talk to me with. Anderson Emrole of the final leg in track and field Black History is joining me. And going right into it, Anderson, bro, NCAA indoors was insane. Some people calling it some of the greatest track they ever seen, like on TV, straight up. But with all that being said, indoors, like, it's a big thing. It's cool, you feel me? It all it is. But like, we're focused on outdoors. We're focused at the end of the season. I'm focused on who's gonna win that Bowerman. We're basically midway, or 3/4 of the, or 2/3 of the way if you do cross country through the entire season. Anderson, who are your favorites to win the Bowerman after NCAA indoors?
Well, after NCAA indoors, after this season, my favorites for the Bowerman Award are Kayle Garland and Jasmine Moore. I think those are the top two for the Bowerman right now. And Jasmine Moore, I feel like she was kind of robbed. She should have been on that stage last year. So I think this is the year that Jasmine Moore is going to get it. And again, she's going to be joined by Kayle Garland. They've been dominating. This season has been crazy for both of them.
Bro, I absolutely agree with you. Like, honestly, on one. I definitely agree with you on Kayle Garland. Kayle Garland, it had done some amazing things. Him scoring that many points, number 2 all time in the indoor heptathlon, beating Ashton Eden's 13-year-old mark is crazy. But Jasmine Moore, like, yeah, she's a beast. She's a beast. But bro, Katelyn Tuohy, man, Katelyn Tuohy is going insane right now. She hasn't lost. She ran through cross country, went undefeated, came into indoors and like got the indoor NCAA mile record, wins the double champ in the 5,000 and the 3,000 meter indoors. Like, I feel like there hasn't been a woman, it hasn't been a person, well, yeah, it hasn't been a woman that got in the award that runs over the 800 or 1500 since the very first Bowerman and Jenny Behringer or Jenny Simpson in 2009. I think this is the year that Katelyn Tuohy can do that. No offense to Jasmine Moore, but I just feel like the fact that Katelyn Tuohy, she just got I know Jasmine got the double chance, but she got two NCAA records as well out of this. Like, I don't know. Katelyn Tuohy, I think, is over Jasmine Moore right now. That's just me.
Man, I mean, Katelyn Tuohy definitely deserves it too. She definitely deserves it. She should be on that stage. But Jasmine Moore has been like the definition of dominance. Not only last year, she won the indoor and outdoor, long jump, triple jump, double. This year already, she not only won the double in the triple and the long jump, she broke the NCAA record in both events as well at the meet. She got to number 5 all time in the triple jump. And the mark she set, her 15:12, is farther than the outdoor triple jump mark. So she's already like going to be one of the best in the NCAA. She's already on that path. There's no one that's like even close to her. She was also undefeated. I mean, I don't know. I think Jasmine Moore has it in the bag. No disrespect to Katelyn Tuohy. I think she's good, but Jasmine Moore, she's the one for me. She's the one.
No, I think the point of the triple jump is definitely sensational. First woman ever over 15 meters is incredible. And like seeing the battle of Katura and Tori for so long, and Jasmine Moore, she definitely has. This isn't their first introduction into it, but like to surpass them, just in the indoor season is crazy. But the reason I gotta put Tuohy on here because like, bro, distance runners, we've been getting robbed for too long in this Bowerman, man. We've been getting robbed for too long. You feel me? Ches got robbed every single year pretty much. And this man's the most winningest man ever, like in NCAA history, has gotten robbed. It's Katelyn Tuohy. Like, she's going to bring justice for distance running in this Bowerman. And I think it has to be this year. She's not going to lose. Parker Valby didn't even get to run indoor. That's like the only person that can really, truly beat Katelyn Tuohy. She didn't run. So like, we've been robbed too long. But I know you want to say more, but I just want to hype on Kayle Garland a little bit more before we end this segment, because like what he did was certainly just like amazing. We saw one of the best heptathlon competitions of all time. On our all-time list, Kayle Garland and Aiden Owens-Delmere are number 2 and number 3 all time, and they did that elevation. I know elevation helps in certain of those events, but like if you're doing that many events, like elevation's definitely gonna hurt you too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, think of that last event, right? They're running the 800. They're like, the elevation isn't helping you there. And after you've done all those events, it's not going to help you there. I think, Garland is really not only like what he did indoors, but then outdoors. I think he's like top 15 outdoors, all time in the decathlon. So I think he's already on the path to get the Bowerman Award here. Yeah, I don't want to hear like, you know, discussions of elevation in terms of like, you know, taking something away from Garland. Like you said, I think, you know, he's one of the most dominant athletes in NCAA history, and this should really be his year. This should be his year.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely proves it. And Anderson, we actually saw some pretty dominant athletes this past weekend. We're at Nike Indoor Nationals covering the event. Just what was your experience at Nike Indoors? How did you like being at the Armory was that your last time this year being at the Armory?
Yeah, last time I was there a bunch of times this year, but yeah, Nike Indoor Nationals was amazing. I mean, the energy, the atmosphere, the kids, the girls and the boys running, like I thought it was amazing. You know, seeing, you know, all the top athletes, you know, coming out to compete, you know, for their culmination of the entire year, and they really showed out.
Yeah.
There were some amazing performances, so it was a great meet. It was a great Nike Indoor Nationals.
And it really was just Indoor Nationals weekend with New Balance happening in Boston as well. So I gotta ask you, Anderson, what high school athlete impressed you the most this past weekend?
Man, Adaejah Hodge in that 200 meters, she dominated, broke the high school record in the 200, 22.33 seconds. That time would have finished, I think, second place at NCAA's this past weekend. So
wow.
For her to do it in high school, and I think she's like 16 years old or something like that, 16, 17, like that is insane. Like that is an insane performance. Seeing her do that was amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's especially impressive too, because seeing someone like Mia Brahe Pedersen also compete at Nike Indoors, like she is smooth, she has great running mechanics, she broke the national record earlier this year, but the fact that Adaejah, like in the prelims too, she broke it as well. She ran like 22.4, then came back and ran 22.33. I just really want to see Adaejah, Mia, and Shanti Jackson all in a race if we can make that happen as well. But I do gotta mention as well, Tyrone Gorsey running that 13:56 in the 5,000 definitely impressed me. And I seen Irene Riggs actually like run in person too. She was dominant in Exin. She won U20s USA's for cross country. Like seeing her run in person, I think she's gonna be great when she goes to Stanford in the fall. But Adaejah, super impressive. But moving on, like indoor season has come to an end, and I feel like indoor season was crazy and it made a lot of people like believe in certain individuals. Like who was the person for you, Anderson, that you became a believer of because of this indoor season?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was Adaejah Godwin from Georgia. He like his whole story. Like he was like 2019, I think he was impaled by a javelin, and you know he was like almost died essentially. You know, so for him to come back at SECs, he ran 44.75. He got to NCAA's, ran 44.75 again, got the national title. Like that comeback, over the past couple of years. Last year he made the world championship team, ran on the 4x4, got the gold medal with the team there. So for him to come back, let alone even like the idea of running again, but to win a national title, I mean, if that's not like faith, perseverance, belief, like everything coming together for Adaejah Godwin, that's the guy that I really believed in this season.
I think a curious question about Adaejah Godwin too, definitely with like Michael Norman dropping down to run the 1 and the 2. Now he still does have the bid, you feel me? He still does have the bid, automatic bid to run the 4 in Budapest if he chooses to do so. But it's all like, that's low-key, that's opening up the 400 for a lot of people. You still got people like Michael Cherry, you got Bryce Dedman, you got Noah Williams, all these individuals. The USA is always stacked when it comes to the 400. But with Michael Norman going down, could Adaejah Godwin be a potential US champion in 2023 outdoors?
He could. He very well could. Not only a U.S. champion, he could be a medalist. I think at USA's last year, he got like 5th place or something, 4th or 5th place, which made him on the 4x4. But his 44.7 that he ran indoors is I think it's the 6th fastest time in history. So that is going to translate outdoors. I mean, he's at least going to run 44 low at minimum, could run 43. He could be U.S. champion, and he could go on to win an individual 400 medal. I think Godwin is really the real deal right now.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Champion Allison too. Champion Allison too is right in there. But yeah, Adaejah Godwin gonna be on to do some special things. The girl that made me like, I'm a total believer now. I'll never jump off the train. I think this is my favorite athlete, to be honest, right now. Britton Wilson, she made me a believer this season. Honestly, there's so many people that I could have picked. I was first I was thinking Julian Alfred. First I was thinking Alicia Monson. But then I had to go with Britton Wilson because even though Britton Wilson, she finished fifth place at the 400 meter and the 400 meter hurdles this past year, was on that 400 meter relay 4x4 relay team at the World Championships. But like, it was still like, I knew she was beast, but like, I didn't know she was this beast. And her willingness to go down and run the 800 also has me, Anderson. Like, it's crazy for her to be. She ran 202, number seven this season in the 800. She ran 49.4 NCAA record, US record, and she also ran that 125.16, a collegiate record. Like, that's the 400, 800, and the 600. To me, those are like the three hardest events in track. You know, you have to sprint for literally almost 2 minutes long for some of those things. So like, she's amazing. I'm a total believer, and I'm backing behind anything that she does. She's next. She's next.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think, let's say there's a race with Britton Wilson, Femke Bol, Sydney McLaughlin, and Athing Mu in the 400 meters? Who do you think wins that race?
This is the thing too, because I was talking to this about with T. I feel like in a way too though, Britton Wilson, Femke, like, they have put pressure on Sydney, you know, like, to run the 400, because Sydney talking about she gonna run the 400 flat. That everybody wants to run the 400 flat. Everybody want to run the 400 flat and really like put something down. So I think Sydney's gonna put something down crazy too. But in a way too, like, even though I think she's the youngest. I think she may be even younger than a thing. I think I still gotta go with Sydney, but I think Britton's like, she's second. I don't think a thing is gonna beat Britton in the 400, and I think Britton can beat Femke like in a 400. She can. The fact that she's, maybe it's just because I'm an 800 runner and I know how hard the 800 is, but the fact that she's willing to run the 800, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to do that. Like, you've been seeing when on the Citius Mag this past week, Chris and Kyle were talking about to Sydney, like, oh, you trying to run 800, and Sydney like brushed that off, like, no, like, I'm not trying to do that. Like, that's insane. She's insane for doing that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think, like, Sydney would probably take the win there, and then Britton would definitely be right up there too. But yeah, I think that's a good point, that like, the 800 is no joke, and for Britton Wilson to step up to the 800 and still be able to come back down and run 49 in the 400, that's crazy. Like, I think if she took the 800 seriously, I think she could run like 156 high, maybe. I think she could be good in it. I think she could be good.
Oh, that's not a hot take. That's not a hot take at all. I feel like that's definitely a possibility. If she just took the 800 seriously, she could do that. But I'm excited to see her actually jump over hurdles like this outdoor season and see what she can do. It's going to be exciting. But to close out the Running Report show for this week, I just want to take some time to remember Dick Fosbury and what he did really for the sport of track and field. He passed away this Monday. He revolutionized the high jump, one of the most influential people of everybody with the Fosbury flop in the 68 Olympics, winning that world high jump gold medal. Like, that's just, it's crazy to see his impact and do something that was probably foolish to a lot of people and not being the right way at the end of the day. Anderson, just it's insane, but condolences out to his family and everything. And man, he's definitely a special guy for track and field.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge condolences. Definitely one of the legends, one of the pillars of track and field. I mean, like you said, the idea that like someone could come in and completely change how an event is done.
Yeah.
That's game changing, right? I was looking up a stat that like after he, won at the 68 Olympics, after he did at the 68 Olympics, in every single Olympics after that, from 1972 on, there were only 2 medalists who didn't use the Fosbury flop. So he introduced it, and then everyone just adopted it because they realized like this was game changing. So that just like speaks to his legacy and like all he did for the sport. And yeah, it's a very tough loss for the track and field world for sure.
No, most definitely condolences out to his family, and yeah, man, definitely. There'll never be. I don't think there can never be anybody like that, or even step to that level that revolutionary a sport, revolutionized an event that technically speaking, like how he did. But appreciate you so much, Anderson, for joining us this week on the Running Report Show. Definitely gonna have to do it again. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure y'all check this out on FanUpTF. Check out the final leg. Check out Track and Field Black History. This man doing amazing stuff. Hey, we'll see y'all next week. Let's get it.